stylish, luxurious, elegant, not us, I mean, like, no, really not us, but two of the world's finest GT cars. What have we got, mate?
We have the tweaked Aston Martin DB11 now in AMR form and the new Bentley Continental GT. Now we suspect both of these cars have had a very similar design brief, and that means they must be the best GT cars they can be, which means they need to be fast, they need to be luxurious, and most of all, they need to be desirable.
So we're going to spend a bit of time in both of them and find out which we prefer. Now, if you like this sort of thing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you turn on notifications, you will never miss a thing. And so we'll start our road test inside the Bentley. I'm quite a big fan of this car.
Yes.
Generally.
Yes.
So tell me about it.
Well, the first thing you need to know, Matt, is that I've got a really bad back, and this has not aggravated my back one bit. In fact,
so the comfort's good.
Quite pleasing, and the comfort is outstanding, actually. Yeah, the comfort is outstanding. It's a very easy thing to drive.
Yeah.
Seating position is brilliant. Everything's in a straight line. If I was in a Lamborghini, I'd be all skewed off.
But you wouldn't be able to get out.
I wouldn't be able to get out, no.
Yeah.
So everything's in a straight line. My legs are straight, my hands are straight, my head is straight. And it's a very, very nice place to be. Engine-wise, we've got the 6-litre W12, 626 horsepower and 664 pounds-foot of torque. Mate, I don't know if you can hear it, but it's got this weird kind of ticky noise. Can you hear that?
I can.
I don't know, that doesn't sound...
It's fun, isn't it? It doesn't. It's not an induction noise,
No.
and it's not an exhaust noise, and it's not a tappet noise.
No,
I think
fuel
it's
injectory. I don't know. It's
okay,
weird.
it must
yeah.
be injectors.
But it's got plenty of shove. I don't know if you can hear
Yeah.
the noise.
I mean, it's got plenty of shove.
It's got plenty of shove.
And it is funny that
about 35.
it's a massively, massively complicated engine because
Yeah.
it's got port injection
Yep.
for low speed, low
Yep.
revs,
Yep.
town stuff, and then it's got
Cylinder deactivation, so it'll run on
cylinder
6 cylinders.
deactivation, and it's got direct injection
Yep.
for
Higher power, bigger throttle
stuff.
openings.
Big throttle openings,
Yep.
and then so the melding of the two. It's just, I mean, the whole thing is a complex car,
Yeah.
isn't it? So it's dual clutch transmission.
Dual clutch transmission, yep.
Four-wheel drive.
Four-wheel
Rear
drive.
biased.
Yep.
Lib to slip.
Yep. And Bentley are quite shouty that it's quite a mobile chassis.
Oh, okay.
And you can put, I don't think they say quite 100% of the power to the rear, but...
Oh, you're right.
but
Yeah,
they're quite
They
shouty,
do
it
say
does.
it can go up to like 90 odd, isn't
exactly,
it?
yeah. And it's a great GT car. So I got in it this morning with a full tank and it was saying 515 miles. If you're going to sell me a GT car, I don't want to have to stop off for 300 miles to get fuel.
No. And even people go, oh, you will never do that much in one hit.
I
You
will.
might, I mean,
Yeah,
I will, but
yeah,
also,
absolutely, yeah.
even if you're not doing it in one hit,
Yeah.
the fact that you only have to go to the fuel station once a week
Exactly.
rather than once every 3 days is
Definitely,
quite
yeah.
a big, make quite a big
Yeah,
difference,
and
I think, doesn't it?
I hate flying, and if I was an exec, the kind of guy that maybe would drive this car, I would take this thing on the shorter plane journeys. And that sounds
Yeah.
ridiculous, but if I was going up to Edinburgh and back, I would absolutely drive rather than take the train.
Yeah.
If I was going to Munich, Frankfurt, I would absolutely drive rather than take the train. And 515 miles could definitely get
That
to
would get you there,
Frankfurt on one tank of fuel, yeah, which would make a massive difference to my journey. So that's a big GT plus to me.
Yeah.
What do you think of the interior? I think it's absolutely beautiful.
I think it's lovely, mate. I think it's really nice.
Yeah.
It's. I've had a look around the factory and I've seen where they stitch the wheels together, and it's beautifully done. And we'll come to the Aston on that in a minute. But you know the stitching on the steering wheel. So they've got a steering wheel. Well, they've got a stitching department.
Yeah.
Right? And when they come to the steering wheel, the people who do it, they bring in a fork from home.
Wow.
And they prick round the edge of the rim so that you go like that, and then you move on to that one, do that, you move on to that one, do that.
Yeah.
So depending on the fork that they've brought in, that dictates how far apart the stitches are.
I thought I could just
So
pop the
they're,
noodle in there.
so their own so basically if they bring a different fork, it has different stitching.
Wow.
It's a proper luxury car, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're I mean, when you talk to some Bentley people and you talk about luxury and you mention Mercedes, they go, yeah. I mean, you know, this is a different class, isn't it? And but because it's luxurious, because it has to do 200 miles an hour, because it has to be a GT car,
It's heavy.
because it has to do too much. Yeah, what was it?
2245.
It's a lot, isn't it?
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's Discovery weight. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's Discovery quoted weight.
Discovery quoted weight,
I think actual Discoveries end up
bit
quite,
heavier.
in our experience, a bit more than
Yeah,
that.
yeah, no, very much
but,
so, yeah.
Yeah, but you're right, that's a lot
Yeah.
of, I mean, it's incredibly capable, given the girth.
Absolutely. Just ask Nissan and their GTR, you know?
Yeah.
They stand by the fact that the heavier car leads to better dynamics, but...
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
To be fair, a heavy body does give decent ride quality,
It's got beautiful ride control, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just sat on the motorway and it was... You know, one thing, the tyre noise, it's got loads of tyre on the motorway. But just in terms of its body control, It's really, really nice actually. Yeah, it's when the cars weigh that much, they've got the tendency to run away with the springs, but this doesn't at
that's
all.
right. Yeah, exactly. So you get the benefit, don't you, that it absorbs bumps because it's less easily deflected.
Yeah,
but you're right. You end up sometimes
Yeah.
with that thing. But I think we're in Bentley mode, aren't we?
Yep.
Of the adaptive.
That's their recommend. Yeah, so
dampers.
Bentley recommend. That's their recommended.
Yes,
setting,
exactly.
basically,
And
which is quite cool.
I mean, yeah, it is quite cool. You wonder why.
That is a standard.
I do wonder whether they bother with any others,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
the engineers know what's best.
Yeah,
But
definitely. Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned the steering. It's not
go on.
particularly communicative, but it's nicely weighted, and it's nice and progressive as well.
yeah,
And it suits the temperament of the car. To be honest, you don't want a hyper alert steering in a car like this.
that's one of the things that would prevent something like an 812 Superfast being as nice over distance for me as something like this.
Definitely.
Just, I mean, I like, it makes their car feel very agile and everything, but it's just a bit too much for me.
It's back to being able to relax, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'd grow on you, but I think you're right. I think just jumping in. I'm going to change the setting, mate. I'm going to stick it in comfort.
Okay.
See if you can notice.
Now, quite often,
I find they do that a bit more. The whole car.
Yeah. But also, on the moment you change, what they tend to do is oh no, that doesn't make a big difference, doesn't it?
big time,
that is big difference. The engineers set it up for an overshoot, don't they? So if you go into firm now, sport now, for a few seconds it goes rock hard, and then it gradually winds back, just so that you notice the difference.
Okay, wow.
Which is quite an interesting trick.
You can feel the imperfections of sport now. Definitely.
Yeah, you can, can't you?
Yeah, definitely.
You'd leave it in Bentley, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd leave it in
98% of the time.
Yeah.
Unless you go on a track, and who would ever do that?
I know, exactly. Ask me if I've taken one on track.
Have you taken one on track?
I have taken one on track.
What's it like, mate?
It's actually alright, yeah.
Actually, so have I.
Exactly.
It was an early.
Fine.
Yeah, it was good. I did like it, and it's to be fair for me, it was at that sort of stage you go, oh, it does rotate.
Yeah.
But also where you go, how do you do this with 2.3 tons?
Yeah.
The Bentley is a terrific car then, so how will the Aston shape up against it?
So Matt, tell me.
Yes.
About
Welcome
this lovely
to
Aston.
my abode. I like this car.
Yeah.
I'm not mad on the square steering wheel, but it's suede covered. Noisier to you, does it feel, than the Bentley?
It doesn't actually. Do you think?
Feels more.
It feels firmer.
It did.
I mean,
it feels firmer, and I'm in the softest of the damper settings.
That's interesting.
And that's where I'd leave it.
Yeah.
I'm in GT mode on the. These buttons could be a little bit nice, couldn't they? When you come out of the Bentley and it's got those organ stops, and it's got the wood everywhere, and it's got the leather, and it's got the aluminium.
Yeah.
This for me feels a bit more. When I say mass market, I don't mean that in a bad way, because actually cars that are mass produced are actually really well screwed together, better than most luxury cars, I would think. But there is it's a little bit more ordinary, because there's more visible plastic.
I feel like I've come 2 grades down from a car.
Oh, really?
But I don't know what would make the Bentley not feel like that, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's
that is
such
true.
a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I feel in terms of just how it looks.
Yeah.
Like say, like a much more mainstream car.
Yeah.
It's not to say there's anything wrong with it. It's lovely.
No. It is, and it's just. I don't know. You feel that the way it just goes through that corner and stuff like that. It just it's really well controlled, isn't it? And you're right, firmer.
Yeah. But is this a carbon? Is this a monocoque chassis in this thing? What is it? Is it a carbon?
It's an aluminium monocoque.
Is it? Okay,
mostly.
right.
I like it. Does it feel narrower to you than the
Definitely,
Bentley?
yeah. But interestingly, we haven't touched elbows yet.
We haven't touched elbows.
No. And these seats are really comfy. I didn't think they were going to be. They actually fit the contour of my back.
Yeah, same
perfectly.
And they're narrower than the Bentley. There's no question. It's a more. It's funny. It's a more sporty car.
Yeah.
But I don't feel that comfort has taken a massive dip as a result. I could still.
Yeah.
I could still spend a long time in it.
Yeah, I agree.
But you're definitely right. It's a lower perceived quality standard than the Bentley, isn't it? So these dials here, which is a digital display, which is fine. I like a digital display, but there are colours on there. I remember getting my first ZX Spectrum in about 1984, 1985 or whatever, and it had these little names on the top of the keypad to make colours, cyan and magenta, and I'd never heard of cyan and magenta before. This blue, that's all Spectrum cyan, that, isn't it? And it just. Can
I show the viewers my retro calculator watch, which isn't too far off the front of
from
the 80s.
And it's just not quite as luxurious, is it? And I think, I mean, that's.
But it's
fine,
nice.
It's doing other things.
Yeah, but do you know what? I feel that the actual shell is stiffer, which means they haven't got to go crazy with the dampers, which is why it actually rides really nicely. I feel it's got a nice
Yeah, I think it's a nice
show.
balance. So this is the DB11 AMR, right?
Yep.
So the DB11 launched with the V12, and it was just a little bit loose in some of its body settings, wasn't it? So they brought out the V8.
I drove a really early one, yeah.
Yeah, I did, and I there were things I liked about it,
Yeah.
and I thought this is amazingly agile for a car of this kind, but it also just had some weird
movements. It would do a
around
corkscrew thing. It would do a
that's
weird,
right.
If you put the power on, it would kind of,
Exactly.
it would almost lean onto that a bit too much onto that kind of
onto
the
that
loaded
outside
wheel.
rear.
Yeah.
And they sorted that out for the V8.
Yeah.
And then they've changed the V12 to make it. Otherwise, the V12 was pointless, wasn't it? So it's the AMR. So it's a bit more tied down. But in tying it down, it feels to me that they haven't really lost any of the comfort.
No.
And they've ramped up the control, and it steers fantastically. You know how the old Vanquish and the Vantage V12S and those absolute peaches used to steer?
Yeah.
And this is not as good as those, but it's closer than I have experienced in maybe any other of the latest
And you know
Astons.
what? I fear this has got the element that this has over the Bentley is that sportiness.
Yeah.
So this is more of a split personality car.
Yeah.
And while it doesn't lose, I don't think it doesn't lose much, if anything, to the Bentley in terms of refinement. I think it gains an element if you wanted to have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
I think the fact that it's rear-wheel drive, the fact that it's nearly 500 kilograms lighter, similar horsepower.
Yeah,
So this
exactly.
is 630, that's 626.
Yeah, exactly.
A bit
So
more, actually.
although, because the Bentley's got faster 0 to 60, hasn't it? Because it's four-wheel drive.
Only
but-
by 0.1 of a
and
second.
0.1 of a second. I suspect, off the throttle from a rolling start, which is what all your acceleration is in the real world. This will be
quick, yeah.
So the numbers are
The numbers are very, very similar. So 208 versus 207 top speed. 0 to 60, the Bentley is 3.7 compared to this at 3.8. These are their quotes. Top speed 208 versus 207. Horsepower 630 v6 26.
There's nothing in it.
So nothing in it at all. But this is nearly 500 kilograms lighter.
Yeah, that is a big old difference.
Big difference.
And I think this. I mean, I know it's got a V12 with 2 turbos, but it's still. I think the engine must be lighter.
Yeah.
Even I don't know actually. That W12 is pretty
5.2.
compact. Yeah. But what I like about it is it's got an old speed auto rather than a twin clutch, but it still makes a really nice noise, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
that's a good noise.
doesn't sound as good as the old naturally aspirated 12s, but it sounds better than the Bentley.
Yeah, I think this sounds nicer than the Bentley actually. Yeah.
Just the way it flows between corners, I think it's nice. I don't think it needs a twin clutch transmission.
No.
I think the Bentley's got it because the Porsche had to have one, didn't it?
Yep.
So, and it's not necessarily always suited to a luxury car.
And it's lighter, without the twin clutch, it's lighter. This transmission is lighter than the twin clutch transmission.
And this changes up quickly enough. How quickly do you need to change? And on downshifts, if it's not as quick, well, it doesn't matter because you're braking and you're revving anyway. So actually, the downshift time is fine. And a modern auto locks up so quickly, it feels to all purposes like a twin clutch to me. It's just I think it's a good. What I love about this ergonomically, and some of the ergonomics are not as this is a bit fiddly compared, and it's not the latest generation Mercedes infotainment, so it's it's a couple of gens behind. But what I like about this, right? So the paddles stay attached to the column, so they're always where they are, which I like. But also an extended pull. Now I'm in drive.
Perfect. Yeah, that's
now
nice.
if I pull that, now I'm in manual. And that's just. Why
thinking.
all autos are not like that, I have no idea. But I think that's a really
good thinking. Yeah,
really clever move.
What do you think about the? I know this is not an option, but what do you think about the nice?
I might not spec it myself.
Bright yellow
but
stripes.
I like the fact that they run a race team and they remind you of it. That's something to be said for that.
And I know that absolutely. I think.
And in terms of the trim and everything else, it's not. I don't think it's Bentley standard, is it?
No,
but I think it's good enough.
One thing I will add, this car has got the coolest tyre name ever. It's on those 007s.
007s.
Mate, an Aston on 007s.
That is cool.
That is pretty cool.
So, it's your money. Which are you going to have?
I really like the Bentley. It does so many things so well, but I just think that the added level of dynamics that you get from this car, you don't lose hardly anything in terms of comfort to the Bentley. So I think the major plus point for me is that this thing just feels a bit more sporty. And I know you're not going to be going crazy, and I was going to be doing massive power slides, but it is that much lighter, so it's that much less corrupted by the weight of the car. And I think it just gives it the edge to me. So I think this has got a bit more of a split personality. which I'd take the Aston.
Yeah, I agree. I would as well. I think we lose a bit of range. This has got about 350 miles, which is
and I did moan about that.
Not ideal. I did moan about that. But I agree. I think on most other and I love how luxurious the Bentley feels.
Yeah.
But I think on pretty much everything else and the things that matter to me as a driver, this gets my nod. And if I really want something with a massive range and a low peak ride, I'd have a diesel Range Rover.
I agree. This does satisfy my needs of mate, it is luxurious. It's nice. I could pass away the miles in this thing.
Yeah. Very happy.
Do you know what? It's kind of car that if you this is going to sound silly, but if you were inclined to drive your GT down to Portugal, you get a holiday home in Portugal, you could turn up at Portimao in this thing and have an absolute riot. But I suspect if you did it in a Bentley, you wouldn't have anything like as much fun.
Yeah, you're
but you could take this on track and you would really, really enjoy it. It would feel like a proper sports car.
Or French mountain hill, southern France,
exactly,
or Italy, or whatever. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
This would turn on in a way that the Bentley wouldn't.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true, and it would be comfortable enough.
Yes.
On down there and back.
Yeah.
There you go. What more do you want from a GT car? So if you like this kind of nonsense, we have more of this kind of nonsense every week. We've got reviews, drag races, news, car shows, all that sort of thing. So if you up thumb, subscribe, turn on notifications, you'll never miss one. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.